lads, ladies, and non-binary daisies. So, before I start the book, I think in another video earlier, I mentioned the fact that I was going to read a book about DID. Here's the problem with that. The book, the plot of the book was shit. So, I don't, I can't, I can't, because, like, I'm a fantasy writer, and I'm all about, anyone can be a fantasy hero. You don't have to be neurotypical to be a fantasy hero. You can have ADHD or autism or DID, and you can still get whoever your love interest is and defeat the dragon that's going to burn down the city. But the plot of that book is domestic fiction, and we all know how I feel about domestic fiction. So, Dragon's Blade, Veiled Intentions is the second in the series by Michael R. Miller. I know that I said I wasn't going to read this book, but I want to read the third book, and this book is not, I didn't actually check, but it seems like this book is not popular enough in, mainstream shit, and for it to have its own Wikipedia page that thoroughly explains the plot. So I had to read it. I remember none of these people except for the main character. So, Eastgard Fort has fallen to a surprise demon attack. There's a war going on with the demons, and the dragons, led by our main man, Darunia, are trying to, forge an alliance between the demons and the humans and the Fae, so that they can all stand united against the demons, because it's one thing if, the dragons are doing a war and the humans want to probably shoot them with guns that the king just invented. But was that oddly specific? I think that was oddly specific. But it's a whole other thing entirely if there are hordes of demons coming that overwhelm even the dragons. So, but we'll get to that. Oh, I hate that trope. But anyway, the fort falls to demons because it was supposed to ward off dragons, but Dukuna, who is the demon underneath the big bad, he wants a Shadow Spire built, and he's in no rush to conquer, and he also doesn't want to tell the big bad demon named Rektar that, how easily the thing was won, because he doesn't want to, yeah. There's a dude named Jaren, I don't know what his name is. He's leading an expedition because Daronir asked him to, and he was told to be wary of red-eyed traitors. At the end of the last book, anybody who was, attacking them had red eyes for some reason, like the fucking Ood in Rage Mode. I don't know. So, yeah. Cosmo is dead. He was not English. He was the human prince. And, he's got a child, though, and that's actually later how Daronir is able to get the humans to at least listen to him, because they think both of their kids are dead. Only Cosmo is. Cassandra's still alive. She gets re-kidnapped by fucking, Castalion. That guy, that wizard guy who's, making all of them have to fight a war on two fronts. She gets re-kidnapped by him. And also, Cosmo has a kid, which means that they have a grandbaby. So, yeah. Daronir is in a place called the Crownlands with the warlock person who helped him at the beginning of the first book, who I'm still calling Brack because his name is too long. And he's got 40 dragons who are going to be his Praetorian Guard. Cool. They're going to confront Castalion. I know I keep calling them dragons, but they're, running. And the reason for that, if I remember correctly, is because there was a curse that was placed on them that took away their dragon form. If in the last book there are no fucking, flying dragon forms, I'm gonna lose my shit. But we'll get there when we get there. Daronir's sword has magic in it. And sometimes he taps into that magic in order to, do things. But the magic is in this universe is very addictive. So if he's not careful, it'll literally break his mind, like what happened with Brack at the beginning of the first book. It'll actually break his brain if he doesn't be careful. So, the magic is called Cascade, by the way. And, Blaine is another person. I think he's a dragon. I don't remember. He's got the other champion sword, which We should really try and locate that third one, I feel like. Maybe Rektar has it. I don't know. It would be interesting if Rektar had it, but probably not. And, he's trying to save people in another town that Daronir was in, but whatever. Blaine doesn't completely trust Daronir, which it's like, I mean, when you base your system of government off of who this inanimate object chooses, there's bound to be some mistrust. The only reason that the dragons are following Daronir is because he wields the dragon's blade. It literally flew to him in the first book. So, yeah. Remember Daronir's friend Balak? No, me neither. That's the dude who liked their human friend Eve, but she died and also slept with Daronir. Daronir didn't tell Balak about that because why would you? And Balak is mad at him for sleeping with Eve. As I said in the last book, he did not shoot his shot. It was very clear to everybody that Eve liked Daronir. Also, we're not going to dwell on this point, but Daronir was drunk when Eve slept with him. So, whatever, I guess. Blaine sympathizes with him for some reason, and then there's an explosion. I don't remember coming across Blaine again in the rest of the book, and I did read all of it, even if I got cross-eyed. So Daronir meets with the Human King, and the humans believe the Human King is now cruel because he's lost 2 of his children, but I feel like losing 2 of your children, both caused by what you assume to be the dragons, I feel like it would make someone bitter. But anyway, he tells Arcus about Cosmo's death and, like, the fact that he wasn't dead when they thought he died, but he's still dead, so, you know. And then he tells him about Cassandra and their grandson, so Arcus agrees to talk to him. So cool. Brack goes to some place called the Cascade Conclave, and we find out more about Castallion's deal. He attacked, like, the Magic Council or whatever. Why does every book about magic have a Magic Council? But whatever. We can debate that in another video, I guess. So, Castalion had the apprentices on his side, except for Brock, and he convinced them that in order to stop the dragons and the demons, they need to use all of their magic. And the Inner Circle did not agree with him, even though he said that he could stop the war. Not the dragons and the Fae, it's the demons that they wanted to stop. Peripherally the dragons, but he wanted to stop the demons, and he was like, we can stop this war if we just use all of our magic. And the Inner Circle was like, nah, dude, we're not going to do that. So he killed them. But in fairness, if they did use magic to try and stop the war, it probably would have broken a few of them, which I guess Castalion was willing to deal with, and the Inner Circle was not. So, yeah. Except, like, at the Cascade Conclave, which is a very fun sentence to say, phrase to say, like, the Inner Circle isn't really dead yet. They're, like, trapped spirits or whatever. So Brock brings the tower down so that they can, like, be free or whatever. Also, Castalion wants the humans to be superior to everything, and Daronir wants equity. And he also doesn't want, it seems like he doesn't want magic in the world, by the way. Yeah. The third sword is called the Champion's Blade, by the way. They should really do something about that. I don't know what Garen's doing. He's just, like, on an expedition somewhere. So, Castalion dies. Daronir gets addicted to magic, and his mind breaks. Ducana warned him and is therefore punished by Rektar, but Rectum's not done with him yet, so he keeps Ducana, like, from dying. So, Cassandra goes to her father, and her dad does not trust the dragons, and Cassandra's like, but Daronir saved me, and also I kind of owe my life to another dragon from the first book who, like, helped her escape Castalion the first time. Her dad doesn't care. He's invented muskets, so he wants to kill the dragons that way. Also, Ducana destroyed all of Rectum's armies, so, yeah. So here's the thing. when books get this long, it's really hard for everything to feel important. Like, everything doesn't feel important to the characters, and thus not important to me. Like, again, Balak, he did not shoot his shot. Like, I get that he's like a shy character and stuff like that, but if you are a shy person and you like somebody and you never shoot your shot, they're not even aware that you like them, because I don't think Eve knew that Balak liked her. They're not even aware that you like them, and they end up with someone else. You don't get to be mad about that because you didn't shoot your shot. And just in case Eve was aware of it, clearly Balak was not his type, not her type. So, again, you don't get to be mad about that because people are allowed to have their preferences. Yeah, so also Daranir should have mentioned that the both of them were drunk. Like, also, magic being a drug in this world, I can see why the world would be better off without it, and I think Daranir is right about dragons being burdened by their hatred of humans. Also, I still want to know where the last sword is. I don't think the last book is called, like, Champion's Blade or anything like that, so I don't know where the last, sword is. At least there's only one more book left. So tired of series that are, like, 12 and 8 and 15 books long. Like, Jesus. Like, also, just want to point this out. You can read large books like this in a day. Like, it's not that hard. You just need to donate your time to all of it if you want to understand and not speed through things. And yes, you're going to get confused, and some of it's going to be boring. But, like, it's not a 700-page book. Atlas Shrugged is a 700-page book, which I'm not looking forward to, but I'm gonna try. But, like, you can... Vice and Virtue is more pages than this, and so's Petticoats and Piracy. Those are both, like, 550 pages long. And I read both of those in, one day. So, yeah. This Daranir in the book is more likable than he was at the end of the last book, because at the end of the last book, he was still dealing with, like, the attitude of former Daranir, but in this book, it seems like he's got more control over it. Yeah. Also, I get why Arcus, the Human King, is suspicious, because the last time he saw Daranir, he was an asshole. But has nobody bothered to explain the rebirth spell to him? Because if I'm not bugging, the way the rebirth spell works is that it literally makes you a new person, because it turns you back into a baby and, like, erases all of your memory. So you're literally a different person. Has no one explained this to the Human King? Although, if Daranir did die at the end of the third one, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool. He doesn't have an heir, though, so I don't know what the Dragon Sword is going to do, but I like it when protagonists don't get happy endings. Yeah, so I also still don't know what Rektar wants. If he just wants to dominate just to dominate, then the interesting antagonist is gone. Arcus is the same as Castalion, and a map would do this series really good. So, yeah, I just read that for context of the third one. Also, I will also point this out because I saw a thing about this on the internet, and it was about the Giving Tree. And if you are unaware of the story of the Giving Tree, more or less, there's a tree and a little boy, and the little boy and the tree are friends, and the little boy asks the tree for things, and the tree willingly gives them. And by the end of it, there's no tree anymore, and the boy is sad because he tries to do things that would make him happy. None of them really made him happy, and he just ends up being sad. I saw someone rewrite this about, like, the Giving Tree setting healthy boundaries, and how, like, the tree told the boy that he doesn't want to, like, do any of those things for him, and he shouldn't ask for that because then the tree will have nothing left. And it's supposed to be, like, a happier ending to it, and it's like, how childish can you be right now? The point of Shel Silverstein, I know this has nothing to do with Dragon's Blade, but I don't give a shit, because I was so angry when I saw this. The point of the Giving Tree is to be like you can take from the environment, but at the end of it, what are you going to have left? The Giving Tree is not supposed to be happy. A lot of Shel Silverstein is not supposed to be happy. If everything were just happy and shit like that for kids all the time, then they would have like an even more skewed up version of the world than they already have, because they're children and children don't need to know how the real world works. But Shel Silverstein is really good transitional material for teaching kids how the world works. You cannot make it happy just because that story makes you uncomfortable. That story is not about boundaries. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? If you don't like The Giving Tree, just don't read Shel Silverstein, because all of her stories are like that. And I love The Giving Tree, actually. Like, stories like that, and stories like, what is the Dr. Seuss one? I Speak for the Trees. What's that? What is the Dr. Oh my god, my brain's not working.
And guest star, I believe that is Horton Hears a Who?
No, that's the elephant.
The Lorax.
The Lorax. Like, the Lorax is, like, the way that book ends, I'm pretty sure, I haven't read it in quite a long time, but the way that book ends, I'm pretty sure they end up saving the environment. But the point of the Lorax is, like, at the beginning, it's supposed to be morose and sad. Like, there's a reason why when I read After the End Has Begun, that book by Rick Wood, there's a reason why when I read that I say I want Sia to die. Because, yes, I know that means Boy will also die, but that doesn't matter. Not every story needs to end happily. Like, not every story needs to end happily. That's the message.
Having written something myself, a sad ending, or like an ending that sometimes pisses you off, can also be satisfying.
As long as it makes sense.
Yes, maybe not in the same ways, but it can also be satisfying.
Apparently, according to one of my aunts who read The Gunslinger and is not going to be happy with my opinion of that first book, she read all of The Dark Tower, and according to her, at the end of the last one, Stephen King wrote like a page where he said, if you are satisfied with the way this has ended, do not turn the page, because it will make you angry. And she was angry, but like, not everything needs to end happily. Pennywise isn't dead at the end of it. It just appears like he's dead. And if you only watch the movies, if you read his other books, there's mentions of a clown after the year that they destroyed Pennywise. So like, not everything needs to end happily. The protagonist does not always need to win. Like, if we did not have 4, 5, and 6 in Star Wars, the end of the third movie, Revenge of the Sith, would be a sad ending. Like, it's just that we have context, so we know that the movie doesn't end sadly. Not everything needs to end happily. There you go.